So it's late at night right now. 45, and I'm bored. So I'm gonna do a once over on this engine. And try and figure out what I need to wire. I still don't have my manual, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I've just gone and pulled the cars. I was told these were rebuilt, but I don't know for certain. I probably want to replace all these rubber. Yeah, that is not super pliable. And those are probably pretty easy to get. But also, just check down there, see the valves. That's not great. There's a little, I don't know how you can see that. There's a little rust down there. Come on. There we go. In there, you son of a gun. It's lined up-ish. Here, let's give it started through the hole. There we go. Okay. Now we gotta get to the other hole. Let me see if that's lined up over there. Not really. Oh, don't do that. I got a leverage point now, which is great. Ooh. That's really close. I think I can force that. Let me get something to hit with. How's that looking? Oh, it's really so close. You can see it over here. It's so close. There. Yeah, it's like in there. This is my CB750. And this is what I'm gonna do with it. So it's been 3 days since I picked this up, and it's brother over there, and this was someone's work in progress cafe racer, right? I picked him up in the pair for $1,000. Now that I've gone through and looked at what I want to do and what I need to do, here's what I plan to do. All right, so we're gonna see how well I can film here. This is the bike. What's been done to it? So it has had some minor frame chopping, unlike that frame over there. But that frame, I don't think I'm gonna use just because it's not correct. We'll get to that. So it's had some modifications here, and it's had the biggest modification is back here for this LED brake hoop. The rear shocks are lower, and the front springs have been cut. Other than that, the bike has been painted, and it's got this exhaust. So what needs to be done on this bike? First of all, there's zero wiring. I pulled off the carbs earlier. I've put on this working stand, kickstand, whatever you want to call it, and I've stripped off a couple of things. I have the parts for both motorcycles over in this pile, which I need to sort through. I have the original gas tank, which is seriously dented on that side. Or is it this side? It's dented. I have the original airbox. I have various hoops and brackets and chrome that I don't want to use. Another set of forks. A set of aluminum wheels. And yeah, a second frame. There's the old front brake. There's the seat, the nasty seat. It's all technically here. I have wiring harnesses that I don't really want to use. I have a pile of bolts that I took out so I could use my bucket as a seat. And I have that spare engine. That's the big thing. So I gotta get my thoughts in order here. Essentially, with this frame, I was on the edge of whether or not I wanted to do a restoration or if I wanted to finish this guy's cafe build. And I'm still in between, because there's things like these bars that are going to come off. I don't like them. They're in the way. I'd rather have these bars. This light, yellow, is cool in some cases, but as a headlight, it's not. So that's coming off. Probably going to try and find something else, maybe with a daytime running light ring. Things like that. And this engine. So looking down into the valves, how well can you see that? It's hard to see, but it's not in the best condition down there. I see rust. I'm sure the engine runs, but I have that other engine over there. The other thing I don't like about this engine is that it's murdered out black. I'd much rather clean that engine best I can and then put it in this bike at a later date. But I think right now what I've thought is I'm not particularly happy with this install on the hoop, so I will probably cut that off around here and weld on just a better hoop, probably the same design, but I'm just not particularly happy with that. Two, this guy right here, I'm just trying to use the light to make it easier to see. That's botched. I don't like that. I'm probably going to cut this out because the other tank I have is longer than the stock tank by a couple of inches. So the hole back here doesn't line up. This is the tab that we're gonna say was used for mock-up, but it was a permanent installation. So you can see how far back that tank sits. I like the way the tank looks. Don't like the way it was mounted. This strut right here, unlike on this frame, where it's a plate, this is mounted with tubes. Don't know if that's factory or not, but I do know I can work with that and move this bracket back a couple of inches. And that just gives me more peace of mind. Other than that, I have to make a wiring harness for this frame. We'll simplify it a bit. The only other thing is I'd like to probably replace those gauges with the factory gauge cluster I have over there. And that's kind of it. So clean engine, reseal engine, place engine. Once this is all stripped down, which is going to be step one, we'll powder coat the frame. Well, once it's stripped down and mocked up correctly. So I guess that is step one, is mock it up, strip it down, put it back together. Also, these wheels, I'd like to get them relaced with stainless spokes and maybe repaint the hub. Same on the front. I think I could relace that and reseal the hubs, or put new bearings in the hubs. And then I think the stainless spokes will pop out really well. So I want to do that and get tubes on it and tires. All right. So we're gonna start with these bars and just getting off the top section of the fork. I don't have any power tools right now, which is unfortunate. My impact is a 1/4" drive hex, and I don't know where my 1/4" hex to 1/4" square adapters are. So that's for another day. But pull these bars off. And so these are the original bars. You can see how rusty that end is. So it'll need to be sandblasted and powder coated, whatever I plan to do. So now, I don't think this doesn't really have any hardware in it, so it should just that's not really good spot. There we go. That's off. I'm going to disconnect the speedometer cable. Easy enough. And that's all that looks like. These gauges aren't bad. I think the factory gauges are kind of cool in a vintage sense, I guess. I don't know. And then these I already loosened up. We do not want them. They will go. Okay, the clutch is hooked up on this one. So there we go. Loosen this up a bit. and out. Cool. It's coming. There. Easy enough.